interesting little climb up this granite stairway.
Do we want to cut through here?
I don't know. Here we are, top of Bellever tour, just in time for the rain. It's quite an impressive tour actually, Nathan, isn't it? You can't see that marquee. Look, that's Laughter Tour. Can't even focus on it. The rain's coming in now. And the wind has picked up. It's meant to be windy. We don't want another wet and windy wild camp, do we, Nave?
So we got to get round this little bit of patch of woodland here, which may be quite vague.
Yeah.
I think that's the settlement. If we come and park out here and camp out here near Cherry Brook, and that is going to be a great place. We've got shelter from the woodland,
Yeah.
and a stream for water. So that's where we're going to try and get. You happy with that?
Okay.
All right.
Here we go. Bellever tour behind us. Was a Bellever tour too. Reminds me a bit of a joke. What you get if you cross an elephant with a rhino? Hell if I know. You can have that one.
So this is set to be the second wild camp in the DD Hammocks Superlight 3x3 tarp. Now last time when we went out at Christmas, I had to set it up on sort of a weird ridge in the ground because there wasn't a lot of space. Hopefully, if we can find some flatter ground tonight, I should have a better appreciation of the space that's available. So hopefully, I'll get a better feel for the sort of ability to be able to sit up in it and sort of move around and do all I need to do and maybe get my head a bit further away from the doorway tonight. And hopefully it won't be quite as windy either. If you've watched our wet and windy wild camp over winter, you will have seen that through the night the winds are up at sort of 40-50 mile an hour. Although we're forecasting some heavy rain, hopefully we won't have the same issue with the hurricane force wind. I say hurricane, it's probably a bit of an exaggeration. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how the second night under the tarp goes. Eerie little passage, isn't it?
So now we're coming back down into another, it's unnamed again, isn't it?
Like the woodland?
Yeah.
It might be named, but it's on the edge of the map, so the name might be on the other side.
So into another forestry, another bit of woodland. Quite an interesting little path down here. Very beautiful. We're heading down here towards Cherry Brook, which we're hoping is going to be a sufficient place to camp for the night. Yeah, and then we're going to get our camp on. Got some Dartmoor legends for you. So I'll read you one or two of those. Dartmoor legends in a tent. Well, we're still walking through this forestry. We've cut from one path to another across some real boggy terrain and a little stream, both of which I lost my feet to, and I am glad to report I have dry feet. Good old Berghaus boots and cheap gaiters. They only cost me £9 from Sports Direct as well. Caramore. The stuff I've had of Caramore so far I rate. I went back and bought more of their hiking socks because they've been the most comfortable hiking socks I've worn. Yeah, good. I like them. They're done, isn't they? That's the wall there, isn't it?
So through walking in circles in the woodland, we've come out on the south elevation as opposed to the west elevation. So now what we need to do is head this way, and this will lead us past this enclosure in the wall, and then as we come to the corner, then we should get to this area where there's sort of fewer trees. These two stone walls meet, and then we've got access to Cherry Brook. If we can find somewhere there to camp, that would be quite a tasty spot, considering I haven't bought water, but you have. Should we head down this way?
Let's go. Might be near a brook, but I don't think we're going to find a camping ground in this. So that's the trouble in the forestry itself. It's all sort of bumpy ground, twigs and stuff everywhere. You don't want that puncturing your tent ground sheet or your blow-up mattress.
You happy pitching up in here? That area out in there, get your tent in there?
Have a look, I suppose. Shame we can't make fires on Dartmoor. This would be an ideal place to have a go, wouldn't it? Bushcraft, not tried any yet, have we? Because we're always on Dartmoor.
Nesting.
So I'm going to go in this little spot here. Bit of a moss bed, be nice and spongy for sleeping on.
At least pushing the stakes in is easy. So, home for the night. You can see it's actually really quite a big space in here.
Well, it took two or three false starts, but I got me tent up in the end. It seems to fly up, so I'm definitely going to look to go down the tarp route eventually, when money permits. Last time we camped, we was up at Bleak House Ruin, and we couldn't get a peg into the ground. Here we got the opposite. It's real soft. It's like leaves and foliage. I think if I fart in there tonight, that tent's just going to collapse. So it'd be interesting to see if we can make it through the night.
I think I might have faced it slightly the wrong way. I don't think I paid enough attention to the direction of the wind. If I'd have rotated it another sort of 30 degrees clockwise, it would have got rid of the wind a bit coming in, but I'm going to be in my sleeping bag. I'm going to be tucked up in my bivvy bag, in my liner, under my tarp. I'll have my head down this end, so I don't think it's going to matter that much unless it decides it's going to blow the pegs out, but nothing's moved or twitched as yet. Trev stuck his nose in the door and sort of seen the space.
How's fun laying you?
Yeah, all good,
God, you've got loads of room in there as well. I can't believe how much room you had in. I didn't look in last time. Nice.
Well, last time it was because I was over a bank. There was less room in here.
Oh, you were sort of bunged up the front.
Yeah, this time it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's ideal, isn't it? Look at that.
You know, there's pros and cons with everything. You know, it weighs so much less, takes up so much less space. If it was, you know, if it was all positives, everyone would be doing it.
2 of you could use this one tart piece of piss, couldn't you?
Yeah, and it's like I'm in there now, and because my bag's all wet, and I'm sort of setting out my bed and that, and it's like I'm all brushed up against my bag. There's not a lot of room in there.
No.
But yeah, just looking in here now, I feel quite jealous.
Yeah, well, I'm quite jealous of your ground sheet, so it swings and roundabouts.
Isn't it? Yeah.
There is no ground sheet. There's no mozzie mesh door or anything like that. You know, creepy crawlies can get at you in here. You have to bear that in mind. You know, you have to be prepared with the thought of waking up in the middle of the night with something crawling across your face. You know, it could just be a bloody woodlouse or something, you know, or it could be something a bit more unpleasant, but that's part of camping, I guess, isn't it? It's getting back to nature, being with all the creepies and the crawlies.
And how does the poles, because you ain't got like pegs in the top of the poles, have you? They just rest there, do they?
It's because it's all under tension.
Proper, isn't it? Here we go. It's a bit pokey, isn't it? Not quite as roomy as Nafe's, is it? But quite a sag on here as well. I can't get anything really taut as I pull stuff. Pegs were pinging out, so there it goes. Well, we've got 4 hours before it gets dark. Camping. Well, I'm in here, Nathan's tent, we're having a coffee. Schoolboy ever. Didn't wash my cup out. So we're just going to swill it around.
The camera ain't going to pick up what's in there. It's furry, man. It's a live, sort of living organism growing in the bottom of Trev's bag.
We're just going to boil some water and give it a rinse about.
Does that mean there's fungus in the bottom of your sack?
Again.
Chucking water on my roll now. Invited him in here out of the kindness of my heart, so we had space to sit in the dry and share a coffee and chat. And he's done nothing but just shit the place up. He was getting frustrated earlier about putting his tent up, bringing sticks at me tarp and all sorts of was.
On purpose.
I can imagine it was, yeah. Set your tarp up quick, get your tent pegs to stick in the ground.
No, I am very impressed with the DD Superlight tarp. Maybe I'll enter a competition and try and win one.
Just to rub salt in the wound. I got to admit, I'm a little bit sort of green with envy about his nice new free boots that he won for putting the letter in. Hell of a nice looking boots. They got that real thick rubber seam that runs around above the tread where it joins onto the leather. My Scarpers don't seem to have that, and it looks like it's going to be a real durable sort of seal between the tread and the boot itself. So yeah, wonderful.
Well, I'm in my tent now, in out of the rain, but I've sort of dragged a lot of wet clothes and things in here, and a wet bag and wet boots. There seems to be a lot of water in this tent now. I'm sleeping this side, got my bag over here, down the bottom, there's my boots and that. It is a small tent. It's a lot colder than it was last time, it feels colder. My hands are absolutely freezing, look at that. My finger's white. That one. Bought myself a book to read. At some point soon I'll be cooking some tea. Got a boil in the bag. And then we're about 2 kilometres away from the car, so in the morning we'll pack up everything in the rain. So not too long a slog back to the car. Anyway, this is me in the tent now. So just have to see how it goes, I suppose.
So I'm just kind of sat here in the tarp, and I did suddenly clock that there's a weather warning issued for today and tomorrow.
Why am I here? A piece of nylon between me and the elements.
Quite happily go home now. Pretty much f***ed off with the whole adventure.
Looks like we've chosen another fucking great night to come out wild camping.